Good morning, good morning. Boy, do I have news for you. I'm Elizabeth Inman with Federal Employee Benefit Coordinators. I'm your Senior Benefit Coordinator Specialist here at Federal Employee Benefit Coordinators, and we try to keep you up to date and current on events that affects your life as a federal employee. Well, today I was reading an article that came out 2 days ago about our new OPM head, the gentleman that came in, Scott Cooper, as the head of OPM, and probably wouldn't have done this video just on that. However, OPM affects everything. It affects the military. OPM affects any federal agency, including the Postal Service. And it affects all of the retirements, but it also affects your federal employee health benefit plans. That's right, your health insurance. And it affects Postal Service health benefit plans. There's now 2 programs that OPM is managing for all the federal agencies out there. So, it does impact. And, inside of this article, as I was reading it's an article by Natalie Alms from NextGov. A lot of interesting things was said. The new head, Mr. Scott, is going to focus on the operational, okay, let me say that again. He wants to operationalize the focus on efficiency in his agency. There isn't any one of us that wouldn't applaud that effort, that's for sure. Goes on to say how the layoffs, the RIFs, the deferred retirement program, the early outs is affecting the agency. So it's currently down by 322 employees. So total employees is 3,110. OPM employs 3,110 employees. But they're down by 322 currently, but the plan is for it to be down to 2,000. That means 1/3 of its staff is supposed to be gone. Now, when he started his job, Cooper, when he started the job last week, he said that he might have to make up for some of the layoffs. Now remember, they're only down 322 now, with the plan being to get rid of over 1,000 employees. And he's already saying they may have to go back and rehire. Now, that could be the topic of a whole new video. I don't want to go there because I'm making a point today. He said he was quite certain that some mistakes had been made and they're going to have to hire some people back. Okay, I get that. But the plan is still to downsize by more than 1,000. Now, some of the fallout from that's what I want to talk about. In fact, this was a 3-page document that I'm reading, and it wasn't until the next to the last paragraph that I stood up, eyes wide open, and said, oh my gosh. Now, all of us ought to be able to deduce that if you slash the workforce by 1/3, there's going to be some fallout from that, right? So Cooper is saying his priorities include making OPM a leader in operational efficiency and helping. They want to be a service-oriented organization, and he doesn't want to force help on anybody or the other agencies. And he said that, noting that he wants to make sure other federal agencies don't see OPM as aggressive. Sounds good, right? Okay, that all sounds good. But he also wants to change performance management, and he wants to do that by incentivizing efficiency and cost savings. Again, we like all this. All of this affects all of us. I am a FERS retiree getting a pension from OPM. It affects all of us. If you have ever been employed by the federal government, plan on retiring, or are retired from the federal government or the Postal Service. So he told the reporters that he's worked OPM equals other people's money. He understands that OPM, the work that OPM does equals other people's money, and he wants to work hard to do that job well, of course. Okay, but here's the kicker. Inside of this article was the statement that the loss of staff and ongoing hiring freeze is putting the agency's Postal Service health benefit plan at risk of failure. And that's according to OPM's Inspector General. And it's like, what? What? I mean, it's a brand new program. It just launched January of this year. It changed everything for postal employees and postal retirees. So I dug a little bit deeper. I wanted to see the results of this Inspector General report, and I found it on July the 10th, and it was written by Eric Wagner. So the Inspector General who is charged with overseeing the federal government's dedicated HR agency, and they issued the warning that the system undergirding the U.S. Postal Service's new employer-sponsored health benefit plan could fail as a result of these cuts. So they issued that report. And they just launched it last fall. It's effective in January of this year. It's supposed to be a model for administering health insurance for all federal agencies. The plan was for them to use the new online platform for the Postal Service first and then roll it out to all the other federal agencies. And it's supposed to provide a new modern process for employees that want to enroll or change their health benefit plans. And it's supposed to be a centralized system for HR inside of OPM so that they can better monitor and be the gatekeeper for those that they found had been enrolled that wasn't even qualified to be enrolled. So supposed to do a lot of things, right? But according to the report from the Inspector General, this hiring freeze has already greatly impacted. And specifically the very IT employees that's supposed to run this new platform. So to get specific, there's supposed to be 11 employees in the IT department that is managing this new platform for Postal Service health benefit plans. And they're already down by 4 because of the deferred retirement program, because of the early retirements, because of what's been happening with federal employees across the nation. OPM has been hard hit as well. Remember, I mentioned there's 322 employees already gone with the intent to get rid of 700 more. So the hiring freeze effectively halted OPM's search for the additional 4 workers that it would take to just maintain this platform. And then, so they made some alternate assignments, right? Got to keep the system working. So OPM assigned some other employees, 2 other, not the 4, but 2 other employees to go over and help maintain the Postal Service health benefit plan. But 2 of those are exercising their deferred resignation program. They're taking that. So the loss of critical staff in conjunction with the hiring freeze is risking operational failure of this data platform. We need to know that. You need to know that. So the additional staff was only temporary anyway, because they both have applied for the deferred retirement program. So making matters worse, they've been relying on a budget anomaly that was provided additional funding over the fiscal year 2024 levels to administer this program, and Congress failed to provide that in their budget proposal back in March. So there's no funding for the program provided in the 2025 resolution. Oh my goodness. So it's piling on one problem on top of another problem on top of another problem. So OPM provided a contingency plan to ensure the continuity of operations for the Postal Service health benefit plan, but the IG says while they have lip service that they've taken steps to ensure the program, they haven't been provided any proof in the staffing that would actually do that. So the IG is still questioning the viability of the Postal Service health benefit plan. Wow. No evidence was provided that would confirm that these changes address the finding and recommendation. So the IG vows to continue to monitor and evaluate the staffing and the financial resources for this critical work. Yeah, it's critical, all right. I mean, we don't want to go up to our drugstore and try to fill our prescriptions to only be told we can't get our drugs. We don't want to have surgery that's critical to our health and well-being and it be canceled because we don't have health insurance. So not scare tactics. Not scare tactics. OPM is saying they're covering it in even with, and I happen to be one of those people that I absolutely believe our federal government is the best government in the world. Is there problems? Absolutely. Are there things we need to be concerned about? Absolutely. But I still believe in the United States of America. I believe in the people of the United States of America. I believe in the people that run our government. But I also believe in full transparency. I believe that when there are things that affect you and I, we need to know about that. So that's why I do the videos. I've got a whole bunch more subjects that I'll be doing videos on coming up. So please stay tuned. I'm Elizabeth Inman. I'm your federal benefit coordinator. Started my company as a result of what happened when I retired and the answers I couldn't get and the answers I couldn't find. We're here to help you. That's for sure. So stay tuned and we'll try to help with a method of giving you information as it becomes available to us.